Wow. You've been on as many as 27 drugs at one time for your bipolar illness. I'm trying to fathom how that could even be possible.
Well, that was a year ago. It was 27 drugs. It wasn't just for bipolar. It was for a whole multitude of physical and mental illnesses that I was dealing with. And, when you're sick, when you have this mentality and this belief that you're sick, the slightest little thing that goes wrong may, at least in me, would send me to the doctor. I wanted the doctor to fix it rather than just waiting it out or trying to seek a natural method or turning to God and saying, is this really what you want from me? I don't think it is, but...
And apparently the doctor was happy to comply if you were on 27 medications.
Yeah, and that's another irony of the whole situation. I find the more medications you're on, the more doctors are willing to put you on more.
Wow,
it's almost as if they can see nothing but the illness. They don't see the person underneath it at that point.
I'm curious to know to what extent you think the antidepressants or any of the drugs you're taking exacerbated your bipolar symptoms.
I was on too many to be able to tell what was causing what and everything. I do know that since my pastors laid hands on me last September, I've slowly come off of all of those medications. And as I've come off each one, I've noticed, oh, this doesn't bother me anymore. Oh, that doesn't bother me anymore.
Like what?
Well, I would have crazy, one drug made me just act insane. I would have these crazy sleepwalking episodes and I would do all kinds of crazy things, and it was so alarming that my husband actually took me to the doctor and told the doctor, you've got to take her off this medicine.
What was an example of a crazy event?
He woke up in the middle of the night and I was standing over him like I had a knife in my hand. I didn't, but I was standing over him like that.
Wow.
And there was no rhyme or reason for it. It was in the middle of the night.
Wow. Tish, we talked about your child suicide attempt, but you've had others. So how many times have you tried to kill yourself?
Oh, I lost track.
Really? So more than you can count on your hands?
Probably, yeah.
Wow.
Tish, I had multiple drug overdoses that were on purpose.
Oh, okay. One of the more, I guess, shocking events or times is when you were in your third pregnancy and you had the thought to drive yourself and your 2 children off a bridge. How come you wanted to do that?
I was very sick. I spent that entire pregnancy either in a mental hospital or a regular hospital or someone staying at my house. I came to a point where I looked at my life, I looked at my family history, I looked at my history, and I looked at my girls, and I thought, they have no chance. They're going to get this. I've ruined them with my DNA. I should have never had children. And I started to believe those lies. Those were lies from the enemy. And I was too weak to battle that. So we made the decision to protect the girls, to send them to my mom and dad for 4 months while I waited out the end of the pregnancy. And it's terrible for a mother to have those feelings when they're sick, but then I had to deal with when I became sane and rational. I had to deal with, I can't believe I thought that. I love my children with all my heart, and God gave them to me because He knows that my husband and I have whatever specific things that those 3 children need. And who am I to question that?
So how did you deal with it?
I just had to do a lot of praying and everything. I didn't really come to a full acceptance of it until after I got into recovery. That was one of the thoughts that used to haunt me and drive me to drugs.
Yeah. Tish, you were actually clean and sober for almost 3 years. How did you get clean at that time, and why did you relapse?
Well, I got clean because my husband had to be away for a while, and while he was away, I realized that, yet again, I had chosen a relationship where I looked like I did the right thing. I was hiding my drug and alcohol use from him, and when he was away, there was no one to blame it on or hide from or anything like that. I had to come face to face with it. So when he came home, we started attending Celebrate Recovery in Wimberley on Friday nights, and just I knew that it was time. I was an adult. I had 3 children, and I did not want my 3 children to go through this. I wanted to break the cycle. So I threw everything I had into that program, and God changed me from the inside out. Now, I relapsed because over time we came to a point where my parents needed to come stay with us for a while. They were moving to Texas. And I felt like I had gotten to the point where I thought that I could let go of this little thing or that little thing as part of that were in my recovery program. And as I did that, I didn't realize stress was rising in my household, and I was sliding into a severe depression again. And as I slid into the depression, I slipped back into old behaviors, which was trying to find a drug, a pill that would make those feelings go away.
You know, for many people, for many adults, living with their parents is really challenging. You have been clean for how long now?
Just shy of 18 months.
Oh, is that right? Well, congratulations. So how did you do it this time?
Well, I spent most of 2009 in and out of mental hospitals and regular hospitals because I was so sick that it started to affect me physically. And again, I just came to that bottom spot where I just turned to God and I said, if you're really there, like you have told me all my life, you've got to take this and you've got to show me how to walk this out. And actually at Austin State Hospital, they sent me to some classes that taught me how addiction and bipolar interact. And that was the first time that I'd ever heard that information. And I really believe that that helped me to begin to take that step again to come back into recovery. When I got out of the hospital, my 12-step sponsor said, or actually when I got out of rehab, she said, I want you to go to Recovery International with me. And she said it'll help you where the regular 12 steps leave off, because she knew that I had trouble with rage and some other things. And I thought they were quacks, but I knew that it was my last chance for help because through MHMR I only qualify for drug therapy. And so I just threw myself into this crazy schedule of Mental Health Recovery Inc. meetings and Celebrate Recovery and traditional 12-step programs, and started going to a new church, Gospel Lighthouse, and nothing changed, but everything changed. You know, I was still married, still have the same kids, still have the same job, but everything changed.